Mike's okay?
Oh, good.
All good. Thanks everyone for joining the webinar this morning. I'm recently started at NETGEAR. My name is Lloyd Harrington. So I've joined NETGEAR about 5 weeks ago now as an IT channel business development manager with a particular focus around the NETGEAR Wi-Fi portfolio. So I come from a long and storied background within Wi-Fi myself, working with many Wi-Fi vendors, Xeris, Aruba, Meraki, you name it, in one way or another, both from a vendor perspective and also I've been drilled in from a system integration level as well. So I've not just worked in distribution land, I've worked vendor, distribution and system integration. So I empathize massively with you guys from a VAR perspective. I appreciate all the pain you guys have to go through to secure your projects and your deals. I know it's not quite as easy as sometimes distributors like to make out, give me a PO, when is the PO happening, etc. So Brett Dorman is with me. Brett is our Pro AV and IT systems engineer. So Brett is all things from pre-sales to post-sale, design, technical support as well. So Brett is very much the brains of the engine room. So a quick brief just in terms of what we're covering today. It's really about Wi-Fi 6, the benefits of Wi-Fi 6, you know, what's the story or the reasoning between going from Wi-Fi 5 and Wi-Fi 6. So we'll cover that. I'll do a bit more of a commercial overview, and then I'll hand over to Brett, who will get into the more sort of technical detail for you guys. There's also Q&A enabled on here as well. So if you guys have questions as we go through the slides, just put as many questions. There is no such thing as a stupid question into the Q&A box, and we can cover those at the end as well. So I'm sure most of you will know NETGEAR. So I don't want to teach you all to suck eggs here. You know, it's a popular brand, very well trusted and recognized, you know, throughout the world as a leading vendor. Formed in 1996. To be fair, I think you can probably count on one hand the amount of companies who survived, you know, the California burst of companies back in the late 90s. Most of those have changed hands multiple times or folded and disappeared. I think probably NETGEAR, Cisco, and maybe a couple of others are still there and thereabouts, carrying the original name, you know, and still growing. As you know, we're involved in both S&B and the consumer home product section. Worth me saying, it's the first company in 17 years I've worked for that my mum, brothers, and even my grandma, surprisingly, knows who NETGEAR is. So that's worth a shout as well. So it goes to show we're very much in the conscience of people throughout the UK, even my own grandmother, which is crazy. So people actually know what I do now in my family. Worldwide, over $1 billion of annual sales, you know, warehouses spread across the world, and, you know, growing in size. That's why we're delighted for you guys to join to show you what else we're doing throughout the world. So fair to say, I think in the last 4 or 5 years, NETGEAR have very much carved out a market-leading role within their line of Pro AV switches. Pro AV, of course, in the audiovisual line, these are still network IP switches. They have some really cool features and functionality that lend themselves particularly well to AV environments, and there's been huge success there. I think we have over 200 technology partners in that field, and there's been a real focus there over the last 4 to 5 years. With the success of that, there is now an equal focus being matched in the Wi-Fi portfolio. So the success we've seen in that Pro AV, we're really keen to replicate that for Wi-Fi as well. So we're looking for partners. You know, you'll see a lot more from NETGEAR in terms of social media and out there and doing things. So yes, really exciting time to look at NETGEAR from a Wi-Fi perspective as well. Many of you guys will know this. I mean, this is just a broad summary. you know, why Wi-Fi 6? Simple. The end devices are demanding more bandwidth. You know, the advent of 4K, 8K video streaming coming on board. AR and VR, as much as we were told it would become a reality 7 or 8 years ago, it really is starting to become a reality now. You know, wearable technologies as well. So just more and more demand for bandwidth, you know, bandwidth hungry applications are out there. Not to mention the ever increasing advent of fiber as well. So internet connectivity now, we all know fundamental rule, your network is only as fast as your slowest point. And there are instances now where, you know, people are deploying gigabit fiber on the line without really understanding that their Wi-Fi access layer is not quite up to scratch. So there's lots of reasons for that expansion and migration now from Wi-Fi 5 to Wi-Fi 6. And I will hand over to Brett to get into the nitty-gritty about what is Wi-Fi 6. Over to you, Brett.
Yeah, thanks, Lloyd, and hi everyone. Thanks, Lloyd, for introducing me. As you mentioned, I am the systems engineer for the UK and Ireland region here at NETGEAR, so I'm all things technical, really. Yeah, so to run over what Lloyd touched on with Wi-Fi 6 and what are the benefits of it? Why do you need to? Why would you consider moving up or upgrading from wireless Wi-Fi 5 or Wi-Fi AC to AX and Wi-Fi 6? Well, there's a bunch of different reasons, but most of them, and the one that we all want from our Wi-Fi, is for it to be faster, for it to power more devices more efficiently, to cover more, better coverage, and of course to be faster. Nowadays, our internet speed is skyrocketing. You know, 1 gig internet is pretty much very readily accessible around the world now and beyond. You know, we're going up to 2.5, 5, and even 10 gig residential internet. So we need to somehow have our Wi-Fi keep up to that, and that's where the introduction of Wi-Fi 6, Wi-Fi 6E, and soon to be Wi-Fi 7 is coming in, just to bridge that gap between our home devices and letting them access the speed that our internet has. Just onto the next slide there, please, Lloyd. Cool. So some of the features, I won't run into too much detail about what these are, but essentially these features, if you think of the M25 highway, and at the best of times, it's a traffic jam. And the same with Wi-Fi 5 or 2.4, and even now 5 gigahertz, with so many different networks. You walk into an apartment building, you open the Wi-Fi on your phone, and you're seeing, you know, tens and if not hundreds of different networks all competing for a very small amount of airspace, essentially, because each one of the networks is carving out a little chunk of an available spectrum of frequencies. And when you have enough of those, or enough devices, or enough networks, you've eaten up all of them, and then everyone starts to suffer. So if you think what Wi-Fi 6 is basically doing, it's upgrading that M25 highway. It's giving it some more lanes, and it's also telling everyone to keep left and pass right. You know, it's optimizing that extra frequency space that you have and allowing it to work more freely. I mean, we've all, I'm sure, driven on a highway knowing when there's traffic, and if everyone keep left, if they add more lanes, it would solve all our problems. That's what Wi-Fi 6 is doing. So we've got better coverage, more frequency space, so more devices and more networks can operate simultaneously, and also optimizing the speed as well as the bandwidth of those networks. So not only now when you do a speed test, for example, you're going to get better speeds, but you'll have more devices being able to access that better speed. And next slide, please, Lloyd. So yeah, with these features, we're getting 4 times more capacity, another 40% increase in data throughput. So speed-wise, that 40% doesn't necessarily mean speed. Your speed could be up to 70% faster. But with data throughput, we're allowing more devices access to that speed, so we can optimize our connectivity like that. And also it's 100% backwards compatible. So if you've got an old ancient device that maybe connects on an old standard, it'll still work with Wi-Fi 6, it'll still work with Wi-Fi 6E. no issue. So if you have a device that is able that has a Wi-Fi 6 or Wi-Fi 6E chipset, it's going to be able to utilize it, but an older device will still be able to use Wi-Fi 6, but it wouldn't get the benefits that of the new frequencies, etc. that it introduces. And to back this up, so we know that, you know, you call, you might have a project come in, customer says, hey, you know, this is what I want. This is my office building. Can you help me put in Wi-Fi? I need Wi-Fi. I need to upgrade my Wi-Fi. And Wi-Fi can be quite time consuming and quite difficult to plan out correctly. I mean, yes, you could go out and buy a bunch of access points, but in terms of optimizing how many, what frequencies to put them on, where they should go, and is it enough or is it too many? We have a dedicated team called our Pro Wi-Fi design team that's there to help with that specifically. So it's a team of engineers who are there to help our customers bridge the gap between I need Wi-Fi to here's the right solution. So we will do, if you hop over to the next slide there, please. We will do free desktop surveys. So that means send us your floor plan and a few other details we may ask for, and we can do a predictive site survey for you. That'll give you a rough idea of how many access points you'll need to give the coverage that you require, as well as how strong the signal is, if you need too many, how many access points you need, as well as ensuring that you have the correct coverage and where to put them, as that is very critical, is where the access points need to go. Because in that survey, we'll simulate the thickness of the walls, the material of the wall, so we'll get the correct propagation of that Wi-Fi signal throughout the building. And on some surveys, you know, big schools, government buildings, etc., trying to do a predictive survey is not going to give the correct reading. So we might determine that an on-site survey will be required. This is free of charge as well. We have our very trusted engineer, James Hobbs, who goes out and does these for us. So we can essentially do a predictive survey, and if we deem required to do an on-site survey, we can do that as well. We'll go on site with our equipment and do an on-site survey of that site as well. And this will be give you a survey report, which can be co-branded as well. And with the outcome of these, both the desktop and on-site survey, we can then give you a bill of materials. So we can recommend what switches to go for. We can recommend how many access points, which model of access points. Keep in mind, all of our access points are all Wi-Fi 6. Some models are Wi-Fi 6E. And are managed, cloud managed by our Insight platform, which I'll show you in a moment as well. If you hop to the next one, please. Cool. So this is Insight. We have another webinar scheduled which goes into a lot of detail about this, but essentially this is what we use to manage our access points. So the access points can be managed locally and they can manage by the cloud. So completely controllerless. You don't need to host your own software. You don't need to have a space in a data center or an on-site controller. This is fully managed by us in AWS, and allows you to link up, control, monitor, configure, and troubleshoot all of your access points and some switches as well that are classified as Insight managed. Very helpful in giving a snapshot into the network, sort of a single pane of glass into all your customers, because you can manage multiple different organizations through it as well. So really, from a customer maybe having an issue or needing it to be configured, you can do that all remotely, which really reduces the amount of downtime as well as needs for needing to go on site. So I thought, let me give you a quick demo. So I have a access point set up here in my house. I've got 500 meg internet. So what I will do is I'll share my screen and give you a quick speed test of what one of the lower models of our access points can actually do, where I can now utilize the full 500 meg of my internet. So give me a second while I share my screen. Cool. So what you can see now, this is Insight. So when you log into Insight, this is what you'll see. You have a snapshot of what's going on in your network. This can be customized as well with little widgets, so you can change this around as to how you need. So just to prove that I am on the network, this is my laptop here. I'm connected to a network that I've just created called Wi-Fi 6. So that is the network I just created for that test, and to give you an idea of currently this access point I have here is just set up with 2 networks. So my home network and then also my Wi-Fi 6 network here. So what I can do is run this quick speed test here. So this is just normal speedtest.net. Let's see what we can get. And there we go. I'm getting 400, getting probably as much as Virgin Media will allow me. But I'm basically able to use the full 400 meg, 500 meg of my connection. Upload, unfortunately, is Virgin Media is only giving me 50 meg, but as you can see, it goes straight up there. So this is allowing you to utilize the full bandwidth. This, this, even though I'm the only one on this network, I have another network where all my devices are running. So I have my neighbor's Wi-Fi running, and I'm still able to get my essentially my full speed there. So what we'll do now, we'll move into Q&A. So there is a Q&A box in the bottom. If anyone has any questions, please do just type your question there, and we can answer it either in the chat, or we can just ask your question there, or reach out to Lloyd, reach out to myself. Always, I showed you earlier, the Pro Wi-Fi design team. Any question you have, so even if it's a simple question about any of our access points, if it's about insight, if you just have a survey that you haven't got round to, or just you want to test us out, you have a floor plan of your house or your current office, and you want to see what we'd come up with, please do reach out. That service is free. It's there for you. There's no job too small, no job too big. So I'm more than happy to help out with that. So yeah, please do ask any questions, and we'll be sure to jump onto them.
Thanks, Brian. Likewise, guys, I'll just reiterate, I joined NETGEAR 5 weeks ago. My main role, I am the Wi-Fi guy here. So all things Wi-Fi from a NETGEAR perspective, projects that you've got, querying, you want to begin to work with us, you want more technical data, you want demo kit, you'll have my contact details. Just get in touch with me, and I can start putting the wheels in motion. So I'm kind of the face now for the UK to get around there. If you guys are interested in doing perhaps a Wi-Fi campaign, into some schools or into a bunch of businesses, you want to work alongside us, I can engage the NETGEAR marketing department with you. We can get campaigns running. So really, I know this always sounds cheesy, guys, but we're really not a product supplier type business. We are a partner business. We'll go from design, remote desktop surveys, on-site surveys, help you design the network. Our inside sales team will push the distributors to get your quotes. We're a very open, transparent company, and we do make life, I like to think, very easy to do business with us as well. So, always feel free to beat me up if you need anything.
Thanks, Lloyd. I see we got some questions there,
Yeah.
so I'll answer the first one from Malcolm. Not currently. We don't do any business grade routers at the moment. We do have some in the pipeline, but not anything out at the moment, I'm afraid. And another one from Kevin. So regarding the Ethernet facing ports on our AP, so all of our Wi-Fi 6 APs have a 2.5 gigabit port. Some of them have multiple ports, but they will not be for teaming. They will just be for multi-gig. So some, pretty much all of them have 2.5 gigabits per second multi-gig ports. And another one from Malcolm. So will VoIP be able to go over this call with call handover and reliability? So we use 802.11r fast roaming as an option on there. So in terms of, and if you're using a wireless soft phone or soft client on your phone and you're walking between the building or a WhatsApp call, yes, they will hand over to each other. So they do use, as I mentioned, the 802.11 are fast roaming. So you can do that and they will hand over seamlessly, providing the network has been planned correctly and there's enough handover between access points and coverage in the building. So one there from Dilip. So what is the entry-level wired Wi-Fi 6 access point, and do you have wireless mesh to extend this? So a few options there. In our access point range, we have the essentially the business essentials Wi-Fi 6 range, which is local managed only, and then we have our insight managed access points, which are cloud managed. So in terms of entry level, you could go for either or. If you only needed one or maybe two access points, then you know the business essentials may work for you. They do support mesh, so we can do that, but keep in mind that they are PoE powered, so you would need PoE to power them, although some models do have 12 volts power. Otherwise, we have our Orbi range, which is the more home/small business range, where those are by default are a mesh system. So you can get up to 7 devices that mesh to each other, and they use tri and quad band to mesh together. So if you know I've comfortably seen them mesh at over 1 and 2 gigabits per second between them. So that is an option as well we can help with. I'll give it another 1 or 2 minutes. If there's any other questions. Otherwise, yeah, after this, please do reach out to us as well. Happy to answer questions there.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you for your support, Brett, as always. Guys, thank you for joining. I know this is relatively sweet. Oh, go on, Brett.
Hey, Mark. I'm originally from Cape Town, but I've lived in Joburg for a while as well. 4 or 5 years in Joburg, but yeah, born and bred Cape Town.
There's one there from Chris, who's serving industrial situations. We can do, of course, it is, you know, environment dependent. I have in my background got into the weird and wonderful world of ATEX environments and ATEX zones. So, you know, we're not ATEX certified. I understand in some situations people will use additional boxes to house APs in. So it you know, it depends on the situation, I guess. So, you know, if it's a heavy, dusty environment, you know, moisture in the air and all these kinds of things, it's just a conversation. So all of our on-site surveys, when we do these things, there's a, you know, small qualification process. You know, we can engage directly with our engineer just to understand the site, what the challenges are. Ultimately, you know, we're only ever going to promote someone that we know is going to do the job. So if you have such an opportunity now, then throw it over to me and let's talk. I think maybe that's the Q&A done. Any other questions, guys, that pop into your mind post this call? Like I said, I'll share my details around everyone. Get in touch. There will be more webinars. You'll be hearing more from us. Love for you guys to join on those as well. We will be present at trade shows. So I don't know if many of you guys are going to be at the BET show. I'll be at the BET show. So it'd be great to meet any of you in person there. Once again, thank you for your time, and we'll be in touch. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.